Well, thank you so much for helping me with my project. I was wondering if maybe you could introduce yourself and say a few words about you.
Well, thank you so much for asking me. Well, my name is Saira Sami, and I'm a good friend of Nathan, and well, my husband. So we know Nathan like they're like family. And what else should I say? I think that's it.
Well, I guess what do you do? Like, what are some of your interests and hobbies and that type of thing?
Interest and hobby. Well, I'm more into just being home, watching movies, and maybe I really like to go out on vacations with my family. Maybe not like out of country, maybe locally, but yeah, we enjoy that.
That's awesome. And when do you like to go to see nature, or do you like to go see cultural things, or do you like adventure, or
No, not adventure, but yeah, nature, I would say.
nature? So the first question I usually ask people is, did you know that NASA is planning to send people to the moon in 2024?
Honestly, I have not. Before, my husband told me that you told him, so yes, but not before that.
Not before that. Um,
No.
do you know at the last time we went to the moon, and if you don't know a particular date, do you think it was like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago? Like how long ago do you think it was?
Honestly, I have no idea because I think it depends on the interest, and I'm not much into those stuff. Probably that's why I'm not sure. Maybe what like I can just guess, maybe 30, 30 years back, 40 years back.
Well, the 40 years back is definitely closer. It was 1972 was the last time that we had people on the
Oh,
moon.
okay,
So,
okay.
and that was before I was born. That was before the current NASA administrator was born. And so it seems like ancient history. Uh, so, um, let's see. Um, NASA has been trying to get the word out about them going back to the moon. What are some things you think they should be doing in order to make more people aware of it?
Hmm. Uh, Maybe they should like I don't know what exactly they are doing, honestly, because I'm not into that, area. I don't have that knowledge, but in general, I would say maybe more of like probably some kind of advertising or maybe putting it in like some news or media somewhere, some social media kind of stuff, so people know, what's going on and what they're planning. I'm sure they must be doing. I'm not aware of, but I would, think of that.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I don't watch like the news. I mean, I see Facebook and Twitter, but I mean, like, how do you get your information? Like, what's your, uh, I mean, do you read particular magazines or newspapers or see the news?
Well, I see the local news. Definitely, I see the news, and then mostly on Facebook and Instagram. That's where I get my news and knowledge from.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be there were like three broadcast TVs, and that was all there was to watch. But now you have Facebook and Twitter and Netflix and Amazon and everything, and so everybody can see what they're specifically interested in, and there's like no common news outlet anymore that everybody's
Right,
watching.
right. Yeah, probably I think social media because people are like so much into social media. Probably they should kind of do something, on social media. I mean, that's mostly people follow, I guess.
Yeah,
Versus news, like I don't.
yeah.
Versus news, I would say. I
Oh,
am not much like I don't follow news every single day. Since this. this coronavirus thing started, I've been watching news, but before that, I would just look into, just the headlines, and that's it.
And what do you think about NASA going back to the moon? Do you think so? Let me give you some choices. Do you think it's a really good thing, or do you think it's like a waste of money, or do you think it's someplace in between?
Well, well, in my opinion, I think it's kind of like a priority thing. So, well, I wouldn't like. I mean, there are so many things that we can do with the money NASA is spending to send people to moon versus, that money can be used for people on Earth, you know what I mean? So there are like so many crises going on, and there are like environment and money. There are like so many things. So we can help with that. So I would say I am not up for spending that much money, honestly. Like if I
And
was given my opinion, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I would first try to do things on Earth, and then so again it goes on priority, and your interest. Like if I'm a person, who really likes to see something, in outer space or go to moon something, if I have that interest, definitely I would do that. That would be my priority, but that's not mine.
no, no, that's a very fair point, and that's important to consider. But I guess, like, what do you think is the most important priority? Like, if you were given, say $10 billion to address an issue that was important to you, how would you spend that?
Well, we have like environment issues, like so much pollution and environment problem, and we have poverty. you know so I would try to help people who are in need, of these kind of support. Probably I will fund it to those kind of organizations who can help people in their specific areas, where they need it. uh, that would be my focus, if I get that money.
Okay, and I guess, do you have any organizations in mind?
um well, not particularly, but I was like part of, me and my daughters, we were part of National Charity League. I'm not sure if you have heard of. So it's like a nonprofit organization for like mother and daughter. So we
Okay.
kind of go and volunteer. So probably, but since they do like a lot of charity things. They are like affiliated with these St. Luke's hospitals and Texas Children, helping them, not just like with money, but also doing the volunteer service. So we kind of do that, but I'm not in particular where, because I haven't done that much research. Like if I have the money, I'll give. So I kind of do like general, like when it comes for like donation and fundraising, I kind of help them. So I don't have like something particular in mind, but it's like in general, I just kind of try to help.
Now you mentioned two. Sorry, uh, you mentioned two things that you thought were an issue: environment and pollution, and poverty.
Hmm.
So, like with the
Yes.
environment, what are the major areas of pollution that you see that need to be addressed?
Uh, there are a lot of construction. So it's like the air pollution, I would say, and water pollution, I would say. And those I think it's like, which like, okay, I can give an example. Like we moved to Texas, right? So the spring cypress where we came first, it was like kind of, it's just an example I'm giving. It was like both sides were just like farm. So now it's like all like residential, and you have houses, and so it's like so much, not just the population, but it's also like what we have observed like from past last or maybe 2 years. It's like we are getting too much fog, and like I'm not much of a scientist or technical person, but even back home in India where I'm from, so it's like too much with the pollution, the ozone, whatever the layer, it gets kind of like fogged and whatever. So it's like you get too much fog because of the pollution. That's what we heard when we were like back home. So that is what I have been seeing here in Houston now. So this is just like one city, one place I'm talking about. And with all these construction, cutting down the trees, I mean, it's so beautiful, and then it's just like it's all plain. So that is like the pollution, I would say, because that's great. It just started because everywhere you see it's construction going on, and it's like so much pollution and dust, and all the allergies have gone to another next level. Excuse me. So
Yeah, urban sprawl, I think, is what they call it, where you have, the city keeps growing, and you have like cut down the forest and build a community and things like this.
I mean, I don't know if you have noticed. I mean, there are like so much fog these days. Like there were like one of our friends, they were like on cruise, they couldn't come to Galveston because of the fog. And we've been here for like 15 years now. This is the first time, I mean, I heard of that, not before that. It was that dense fog that they couldn't, come to the coast.
And how much of that do you think is from pollution from cars and versus like pollution from like industry? I mean, like, where do you think it comes from? Or both? Maybe they're both like equal
Kind of
contributors.
both, yeah.
Yeah. You think moving to electric cars is going to help?
I think it would help. I mean, I don't have one, but I think, yeah, that it may help, yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a long process. I don't know, but it's something, really concerns me.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Do you know Jeff Bezos?
Honestly, no. I'm
So
sorry, I don't know how much help I am of, but
no, 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 that's good. But he's the founder of Amazon,
oh, okay.
but he also has a space company called Blue Origin,
Oh,
and
really?
he's concerned about pollution also. He thinks that you know Earth is like the most special place and the best place for humans in the entire solar system, and that we should
Mhm,
do what we can to protect the Earth. And he likes to say Earth is for living and space is for working. And he has a long-term vision of taking, like mining and manufacturing and energy production and all these things and moving them to
mhm.
space to keep from having those things hurt the Earth as like a long-term goal. And I was wondering, going to the moon just so that we could take pictures of ourselves on the moon is kind of a pointless activity, I think. I mean, I have trouble getting excited about that myself. But this
Mhm,
idea of, trying to develop infrastructure in space to protect the Earth, I was wondering if that
mhm.
resonated with you more, if you thought that was an interesting idea. I mean, I know that it seems impossible, but if we got over the
Yeah,
impossible bit, would that excite you to think of developing space to protect the Earth?
I think yes. Yes. I would, I would be for that. Yes.
And the last question I usually ask people is, if it was safe and affordable, would you
Mhm.
have an interest in going into space, like to go around the Earth? Let's say it was as safe and affordable as taking an airline ticket to like New Zealand or something.
Yes, then I would like if it's not like, yeah, New Zealand. Yeah, I think yes, definitely. I
Yeah,
would like to go and see them.
like $4,000 or $5,000, something like that. Maybe just
But it all not just, yeah. So if we are talking like just about the like the, I don't know. Uh, so what about the time?
The
Excuse me,
time.
like how much time it will take to go and come back, not just the money, but the time.
Well, how about this? How about like a 2 or 3 day trip to just go around the Earth and see it, while you're floating, like in the International Space Station, or maybe a week-long trip to the moon and back. So, things that would be measured in days and weeks, not like a 6 month
Right.
journey.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah,
I,
definitely. Then I would definitely like to take a trip. Definitely.
I think this quarantine that we have is convincing a lot of people that multi-month journeys in a small capsule with a group of other people may not be for them.
Can't blame them.
They're like, I need to get out. Well, did you have any uh, closing comments that maybe you wanted to say?
No, only thing, well, good luck with your project. And I am not sure how much I was of help of, but hope I didn't said something really bad about it, but it was just my opinion, so don't take anything seriously.
Oh, no worries. All opinions matter, and it's about getting the whole wide range of opinions that I went to do. So it was fantastic.
I'm so glad, I was able to help in, in some way.